It seems like MAGA can only fully grasp the danger and damage of Donald Trump's policies when they're personally affecting them. They'll cheer on tariffs unless they're now a farmer in Iowa who can no longer sell their soybeans. And they'll claim they're making America healthy again until Trump kicks them off their health care. MAGA is finally waking up to the reality of what they voted for. And the person who it's hitting most close to home tonight is Karoline Leavitt, because a family member of hers was just detained by the very ICE thugs who she propagandizes on behalf of every single day. We're going to get into this breaking story. But first, if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps support our work. Now, before we get into what's happening with Karoline Leavitt's own family, I want to start with what Jessica Tarloff had to say on Karoline's favorite network today about the lies around these ICE raids. Check this out.
It boggles my little mind.
Jessica, 2 million in 1 year are gone. So according to my calculations, that will be 8 million by the end of this term.
It won't be.
So when you get rid of 8 million illegals, you know what happens? Crime goes down. Rent goes down. Health insurance goes down. Car insurance goes down. Those things
aren't happening.
Okay, we're just getting started, Jessica.
Oh, okay.
It's supply and demand. What do you think is going to happen when you get 8 million?
At least we're getting started, Jessica. You guys didn't do crap.
That's not true.
It lowers
Biden
everything. That
was
means
deporting more
classrooms
people.
get lighter. That means everything goes down, Jessica. Wages go up, crime goes down. It's very simple. Even you can understand it.
No one is safer, because Donald Trump is sending Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, these MAGA thugs, into communities that do not need to be patrolled. And then what? Shooting them up with tear gas. Going up and intimidating people for simply existing and being black and brown. Like that is the major crime being committed, according to these loser guys who probably still live in their mom's basement if they haven't been kicked out because they're awful. Those are the people roaming our streets. Those are the people who Trump has given carte blanche to and said, go take out all your anger and resentment, because no one ever liked you, you chinless weirdos. And now they're patrolling our streets and running free with no accountability. For now. But the accountability's coming, and Jasmine Crockett, who has been speaking out maybe louder than any other Democrat about ICE, made that very, very clear. Listen to this. This is a racist organization.
I know someone promised that they would make America great. I am telling you that they are doing just the opposite. I am telling you that we are a land of immigrants. It is time to do immigration right. It is time to make sure that we live up to the promise of this country. The idea that someone ran and said that I will get rid of the bad guys, yet we know more than 50% of the people that are currently being detained in custody have no criminal records at all. Zero, nada. So tell me why you are taking those people out of their communities. They are our neighbors, they are our friends, and frankly, they contribute to the fabric of this country. They are what make this country great, not your thuggish ICE agents who literally are spitting on our Constitution, as well as everything that we think patriotism ought to be. So with that, I want you to know, whether you are in Los Angeles, whether you are in Chicago, whether you are in any city in North Carolina, let me be clear. Democrats, specifically on the Oversight Committee, we got your back. I want you to know that this is about doing what's right. This isn't right or left for us. This is right or wrong. And I am telling you right now, this administration is wrong.
This is a racist agency that has to be dismantled if we actually want to keep our country safe. And there's a lot of us who have been saying that for a long time. It should have never been a radical idea to dismantle this agency that's able to, at the direction of a God-King wannabe president, decide to act as his own independent militia and go in and attack whatever cities he deems shitholes and hellholes and falling apart. Unless, I guess, he's charmed by someone. And then in that case, Karoline Leavitt had to go on TV and beg and plead for the MAGA base to not think that Trump had fallen in love with the mayor-elect of New York City. But Karoline, in that very same meltdown that she had earlier last week, said that ICE would of course continue to go into New York City, which we'll see about that. But I think, Karoline, you might want to pump the brakes on sending ICE everywhere, because as I said, it is now hitting close to home for Karoline Leavitt. And I want to get into this breaking story. Karoline Leavitt's family member captured by ICE goons. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt has been personally linked to the brutal ICE raids sweeping America. Her 11-year-old nephew's mother, Bruna Ferreira, is now in ICE custody at a Louisiana detention facility, facing deportation to Brazil. Ferreira is the former fiancé of Michael Leavitt, the press secretary's New Hampshire-based brother. They had a son who they raised together before they split. Ferreira's sister, Graciela dos Santos Rodriguez, has started a GoFundMe campaign to raise money to fight the ICE charges and allow Bruna to remain in Boston. It has now raised over $14,000 of a $30,000 target. A source familiar with the matter told the Daily Beast that the individual is the mother of Karoline's nephew, and they have not spoken in many years. The child has lived full-time in New Hampshire with his father since he was born. He has also never resided with his mother. On the GoFundMe page, Graciela dos Santos Rodriguez says her sister is now fighting to stay in the country she has called home for nearly her entire life. Rodriguez says Bruna entered the U.S. with their parents in December 1998 on a visa, and that she has maintained her legal status through a program for people who entered the country as children called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA. Since then, she has done everything in her power to build a stable, honest life here, followed every requirement, and has always strived to do the right thing. Now, the closeness of this family member is certainly in question, and whether Karoline Leavitt cares about anyone except for her dear leader, I don't know. But what I do know and can clearly see is that everyone will be affected, no matter how big of a supporter you are of Trump, by his disgusting, his immoral, and his criminal policies. That is something that MAGA is waking up to every single day. They thought that Trump would take care of them, that he would bail them out, that there would be a stimulus to offset his terrible economic policies, that these raids on communities they'd never have to see. But what they don't realize is that Trump only cares about a small group of people, his billionaire buddies. And if you're not one of them, you will feel the effect of his policies. Trump is only willing to bail out those close to him, and those close to him will get away with as much corruption as they want. That includes Karoline Leavitt, who is actually technically a campaign finance criminal herself, unwilling to pay off the hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans and contracts that she hasn't paid up for. Lots of debt out there for Karoline, but she doesn't care. The FEC isn't coming for her because Trump has literally debilitated it and stopped it from being able to work so that criminals and corrupt politicians like himself can run free. And he is not, of course, the only one in his administration. He exclusively brings on people who are corrupt like him. Which is why, as we're talking about ICE, it's important to remember that Tom Homan, the guy who took tens of thousands of dollars in cash in a duffel bag, still has not faced the accountability that he deserves. Which is exactly what Senator Adam Schiff was talking about tonight. And an update on this investigation is exactly what we need right now.
Joining us now is Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and a former federal prosecutor. Senator Schiff, what normally happens with this kind of cash in undercover operations like this run by the FBI?
Well, there would be a follow-up if there's a prosecution where you would make sure that the money was retained so you could enter it into evidence during a trial. Sometimes the $50,000 might be in marked bills. I remember working on a case involving corrupt L.A. sheriffs way back in the day when I was a prosecutor, and it involved marked bills that were later found sequestered within the drywall in this deputy sheriff's home. So you want to be able to prove that you provided the money. Now, if you've got video of it or audio of it, you may not need marked bills, but it's an important part of the evidence. But also here, where the Justice Department dismissed the case for reasons it's never made clear, the question is, did they ever get the money back, or did he just get this $50,000 bribe gift from the FBI? And we should be able to get answers from the Attorney General on that, or the Director of the FBI. But that requires that Republicans join us in doing serious oversight. That requires the Judiciary Committee demand on a bipartisan basis answers to those very basic questions. They haven't been willing to do that. So Senator Whitehouse, Senator Blumenthal, and myself have now made these FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests. My experience in the first Trump administration, when they likewise stonewalled oversight, is sometimes FOIA is a quicker process to get answers because you can go to court to enforce them than even congressional oversight, particularly here where Republicans aren't willing to do it.
Senator, one of the answers that the Attorney General could have given to Senator Whitehouse's question about this is it never happened. There was no FBI undercover operation investigating Tom Homan. There is no video of him accepting $50,000, and so there is no $50,000 to talk about. That's an available answer if it's true.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely right. Another available answer is we will get you that information. We will provide that to this committee. If there is an audio or videotape, we will turn it over. We will let you know whether he paid taxes on this. If he kept the money, we will give you those answers. That, too, would be acceptable if she actually didn't know the answers. Now, I think she does know the answers. If you played a little more of that tape, you would have seen what she did with respect to just about everyone on the committee, which is when she got questions she didn't like, she turned to personal attacks on the different senators. But yes, you're absolutely right. She could have made a denial. Even Tom Homan, when he was originally asked about this on Fox, didn't deny getting the cash. He was willing to say he didn't believe he did anything illegal, but he didn't rule out getting the cash.
Senator Schiff, we have to squeeze in a commercial break. When we come back, I'd like to discuss Donald Trump using the FBI now to try to investigate members of Congress for simply reciting the law publicly. Senator Adam Schiff is back with us. Senator, we have reports indicating that the FBI is trying to arrange interviews with each of your colleagues in that video. Should they agree to those interviews? There's nothing forcing them to do that.
Well, I leave it to them to decide how they want to handle this, but this is plainly intended to try to intimidate them. We have the astonishing situation where the president, the Pentagon are saying that if you state the law, if you state what the Constitution provides, that's how somehow going to subject you to investigation, prosecution for sedition, court-martialing. It's absurd.
Here's the thing. I have found myself sharing this sentiment on more and more shows recently, but it's something that Eric Swalwell said that stuck with me. To Mike Johnson, to Republicans in Congress, to all of their aides. Save your emails, save your texts, save everything you've written down. We know that you are implicated in every cover-up and crime that this administration has committed. And there will be repercussions, especially for Tom Homan, you marble-mouthed piece of shit. And we will continue to cover those every single day on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you.